The reported reason for why WWE wasn't featured at the Fox and NBC Universal Upfronts this week has now been revealed. JD McDonough could be heading to the Judgment Day as Finn Balor scouts his former protege, with new members possibly being added to the faction. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler return to WWE television as they attack Women's Tag Team Champion Raquel Rodriguez, seemingly going after the Women's Tag Team Championships. Becky Lynch challenges Trish Stratus for a match at Night of Champions later on this month. Mustafa Ali is the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship after winning a Battle Royale on Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, will be making a rare house show appearance very soon. We've got the ratings for Friday's episode of SmackDown. Several WWE superstars are being given more flexibility when it comes to their promos on WWE TV. Cody Rhodes discusses his upcoming rematch against Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions as their contract signing is set for next week's edition of Monday Night Raw. Apollo Crews talks about his return to Monday Night Raw, and the respective gates for Backlash and SmackDown in Puerto Rico have been revealed. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about the future of WWE television, particularly Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. Where are they going to land? Obviously, we know that it's a big year for WWE TV. Media rights negotiations are beginning. Next year, could we have new homes for the flagship shows of WWE? Well, NBC, Universal, and Fox both held upfronts yesterday, and both had something in common: the auspicious absence of World Wrestling Entertainment programming. Both companies do carry WWE programming on their networks, with Fox, of course, airing SmackDown on Fridays, and NBC Universal's USA Network airing Raw on Mondays and NXT on Tuesdays. The absence of WWE from both upfronts raised some eyebrows, but a new report from PW Insider Elite has shed some light on why WWE was excluded. It was reported that both NBCU and Fox categorized WWE alongside their sports programming. Since yesterday's upfronts were focused on entertainment programming, this was the main reason WWE was not mentioned. It must also be said the exclusive windows for TV rights negotiations between WWE and both companies has reportedly expired or soon will expire, meaning WWE can shop its media rights around to other networks. WWE's continuing media rights negotiations could see them end up with a new home network. There is reportedly a want to, quote, diversify WWE's presence on TV after the WWE-UFC merger, unless a network offers a large sum of money for exclusivity, which of course did happen in the past when it came to Raw being on Mondays on USA and then SmackDown Live being on Tuesdays on USA, but there is a want and a desire for WWE to diversify, as I mentioned, their television presence. Later on this week, of course, AEW will have its turn with the Warner Bros. Discovery upfronts, which are expected to shed some light on the potential new media deal between the two companies, heading into AEW CEO Tony Khan's announcement on Wednesday's AEW Dynamite on TBS, although the announcement is expected to take place on TNT. The exact details of AEW's new television deal with WBD aren't crystal clear just yet, but speculation has held for high numbers for the young company. Additionally, AEW could find itself streaming future pay-per-views on WBD's Max streaming service, a bit like how WWE streams their premium live events on NBCU's Peacock service. So if you're wondering why they were absent from NBC, Universal, and Fox's upfronts, it's because they're kind of categorized as sports entertainment. You kind of have to go with one or the other. And also, there is uncertainty about where WWE TV is going to be in 2024. Where do you think Raw, NXT, and SmackDown will land when it comes to networks like next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Of course, the latest episode of the Red Brand was on USA Network last night. And during the Battle Royal to crown a new challenger for Gunther's Intercontinental Championship, new Monday Night Raw superstar JD McDonough was eliminated by Dolph Ziggler before attacking him at ringside after the elimination. Later in the show, a vignette aired for McDonough before Kathy Kelly caught up with him as he was leaving the arena. McDonough said he came to Raw to make a statement and that Ziggler learned that you never bet against an ace, but it was what happened after the segment that got people talking. The camera lingered on Kathy Kelly after McDonough left before Finn Balor appeared lurking from behind, as you can see in the picture beside me. This way. There you go, I have to remember the right way. You can see Finn Balor looking over the balcony. This has led to a lot of people speculating it could be teasing JD McDonough to be joining the Judgment Day. Of course, Balor and McDonough have a huge history. Finn Balor was one of the people that taught JD McDonough how to wrestle. He's his protege. They're both from Ireland. And with reports that WWE are considering adding new members to the Judgment Day, it would make sense that JD McDonough could be that person to be joining the faction. Do you think JD McDonough is a good addition to the Judgment Day? Let me know your thoughts as always. Ronda Rousey is back on WWE TV alongside Shayna Baszler. Rousey and Baszler are officially back on WWE programming, and they wasted no time in making a statement on Monday's edition of Raw on USA. Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan were originally slated to defend their Women's Tag Team Championships against Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green on Monday, but that was postponed due to an injury to Morgan. Instead, a singles match was made between Rodriguez and Green. Following her victory over Chelsea Green, Rodriguez was attacked by Rousey and Baszler, who hadn't been seen since their victory in the Women's Showcase match at WrestleMania 39. The baddest woman on the planet has been dealing with an arm injury in recent weeks, and that's why she wasn't really involved in WrestleMania, and plans for the tag team kept changing and changing and changing. It was reported that they were slated to possibly win the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania or shortly thereafter, but injuries, as I mentioned, to Rousey and Baszler meant that was postponed. But now that they're back, it's looking like the plans for them chasing the Women's Tag Team Championships are back up and running again. Becky Lynch has challenged Trish Stratus to a match at Night of Champions. When Trish Stratus turned heel on Becky Lynch a few weeks ago, the WWE Hall of Famer wanted to teach her a lesson. Monday night on Raw, the man came back around to Greensboro, North Carolina to thank her. That is before challenging her to a match at Night of Champions. Lynch recalled the moment that set her off, that being when Stratus called her daughter stupid. Suddenly, she had a face and a target for all the badness inside her head. I will be it until I say it's over, Lynch declared. The match has yet to be made official, it must be said. A contract signing is being promoted for next week's edition of Monday Night Raw. It's quite interesting because initial reports suggested that this match would be saved until SummerSlam, but there were people that were suggesting, can this match even be saved for SummerSlam, considering how far ahead that is and how much time is needed to be filled? So possibly we will have the first match at Night of Champions and then maybe the rematch at SummerSlam. Perhaps that's something that they're going to consider. Of course, we still haven't seen Lita on WWE TV since Trish Stratus attacked her. Whilst there aren't any concrete plans to include Lita right now, some have speculated she could return and get involved in this feud. As I mentioned, we have a new #1 contender for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, and it was an underdog angle, certainly, that was on the cards to set up Gunther's next challenger, and on Raw on Monday night, that certainly became the case. In a battle royal to determine the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, wrestlers such as Otis, Dolph Ziggler, Matt Riddle, former champion Ricochet, and even Bronson Reed filled the ring, but in the end, it was none other than Mustafa Ali standing tall and outlasting them all after eliminating Ricochet and Reed to close out the match. Though the match itself wasn't without shenanigans, just when Riddle was gaining steam, for instance, Ludwig Kaiser, or should I say Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci put a stop to it as per Gunther's instructions, possibly giving a hint to a future title feud on Raw. Even still, Reed was cruising through the field before and after that moment, until he and Ricochet realised they could work together to take him out, that is. Once the duo got him over the top rope, though, there was the issue of knocking him off the apron. Ricochet took it upon himself to do so, but was eventually caught in midair, only for Ali to connect with a top rope dropkick, sending Reed and Ricochet crashing to the floor. That makes it 3 consecutive wins on Raw for Ali after picking up singles victories over the Alpha Academy's Chad Gable and Otis in recent weeks. There have been a few near misses, of course, over the course of his WWE career, yet throughout it, he's yet to capture a championship with the promotion. Ali will look to change that by ending Gunther's historic reign at Night of Champions on May 27, a task that nobody has been able to achieve so far. Roman Reigns is going to be working a rare house show. The Tribal Chief, we don't see him that often anymore. Certainly a part-time superstar, but the island of relevancy is coming to North Carolina. Undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns was recently announced to be appearing at a WWE house show in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The announcement was made by the event's venue, the Crown Coliseum, on Facebook. It'll be Reigns' first time back in the venue in over 4 years, and only his second appearance at a house show in 2023. Although Reigns used to appear frequently on WWE's house shows, the Tribal Chief began making these appearances much less frequently, while also starting to appear much less frequently across WWE programming at large. Reigns recently re-emerged on WWE TV for the first time since the night after his victory over Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39. On the May 12th episode of SmackDown, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion set his sights on another pair of bouts to add to his collection. After castrating the Usos for failing to reclaim the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships from Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, Reigns announced that he and Solo Sikoa would be challenging the champions at the upcoming Night of Champions Premium Live event. On its own, the prospect of Reigns challenging for the titles right now is interesting, but more interesting is Sami Zayn's inclusion in the Saudi Arabia-based Premium Live event. Zayn has not travelled to Saudi Arabia with WWE in nearly a decade due to diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and Syria. Zayn, who is of Syrian descent, made the decision to travel for this event due to recent diplomatic upturns between Saudi Arabia and Syria. But Roman Reigns is going to be wrestling at a house show. How rare is that? We got the ratings for Friday's episode of SmackDown, which did feature Roman Reigns on the show. Last week, WWE and AEW reportedly stacked their TV lineups to try and combat viewer attrition to the NBA and NHL playoffs, and for the most part, it appears to have worked. Though Raw was down, even with its half of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, NXT and AEW Dynamite were both up. And now, as of today, we know that SmackDown was up as well. According to reporting from Showbuzz Daily and WrestleNomics, Friday's show averaged 2.149 million viewers across its 2 hours, which is up 4% over last week. Approximately 731,000 of which were in the key demographic, most valued by advertisers, adults aged 18 to 49, which was up 8% over the prior week. The latter figure translates to a 0.56 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, which made it the night's top show on broadcast television, though it trailed behind ESPN's NBA playoff coverage on cable for the day's top spots overall. For a bigger picture look at the ratings, the WrestleNomics Patreon page tracks how SmackDown did in various demographics in relation to the median of the prior 4 weeks' numbers. By that metric, there wasn't much to learn from, as all of the listed changes were well within the Nelson and Nielsen's stated 10% margin of error. The biggest percentage gain was 3% for adults aged 35 to 49, while the biggest percentage loss was 6% for adults aged 18 to 34. And despite the week-over-week improvements, the May 12 rating was flat compared to the median in adults aged 18 to 49, while total viewers actually dropped 3% from the median. So, what do you think of the ratings? Is that a case of against strong competition, or is this going to be the range that WWE is settling in post-WrestleMania for SmackDown? This is quite an interesting story when it comes to promos in WWE. A new report has revealed there is more flexibility being given in WWE promos in recent weeks. Since Triple H took over creative following the retirement of Vince McMahon, there has been various changes seen on WWE programming. For more wrestling on weekly shows to characters reverting back to old gimmicks or names, the Triple H regime has seen various improvements throughout the past 10 months. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reported that several of the wrestlers have been given more flexibility in their promos in recent weeks. One of the examples given to this change was the recent Karrion Kross and Shinsuke Nakamura program. Nakamura defeated Kross to blow off their rivalry on the May 5th episode of SmackDown before Shinsuke moved over to the Raw brand. So, Fightful are suggesting that more stars are being given more flexibility. Now, what that flexibility means, we'll have to wait and see and wait for maybe more examples of that, but I guess that can't be a bad thing for certain talent. Cody Rhodes, of course, he's going to be facing Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions, and Cody Rhodes says Brock Lesnar needs to get out of his way. Rhodes and Lesnar have been feuding since the April 3rd episode of Raw, where the former WWE champion brutally attacked the American Nightmare. Tensions continued to rise until the two stars clashed at Backlash. There, Rhodes emerged victorious. On the May 8th episode of Raw, Lesnar attacked Rhodes again and cost him his match in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship tournament. Lesnar then challenged Rhodes to a match at Night of Champions, and Rhodes accepted. On the May 15th episode of Raw, Rhodes came to the ring and delivered a heated message looking back on his match with Lesnar at Backlash. He stated that Lesnar wasn't better than him that night. He noted that his feud was about to be which one of them was the big thing in WWE these days. Rhodes said that Lesnar used to be the next big thing, but that's not the case anymore. Instead, he's simply in Cody's way. Now, as I mentioned, I don't know if there's a contract signing next week, or they're certainly under one roof. It's going to be interesting to see how they're actually referring to this. But WWE has announced that Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar will be in the same building of the final Raw before Night of Champions. The two are set to meet face-to-face on the May 22 episode of Raw. Plus, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, they will have a contract signing for their match at Night of Champions too. Finally, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will find a partner to compete against Imperium, that being Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and the Intercontinental Champion Gunther. While not official, WWE did also tease Zoe Stark taking on Candice LeRae as well. Apollo Crews, he's also talked about returning to Monday Night Raw. Crews previously competed on Raw and SmackDown after he was called up from NXT in 2016. During his initial run on the main roster, Crews won the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship. Crews returned to NXT in June 2022 and had been a featured member of their roster. During his time on the show, he feuded with Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes. During the 2023 WWE Draft, Crews was selected by Raw. On the May 15 episode of Raw, Crews competed in the Battle Royal for a shot at the Intercontinental Champion Gunther. In a Raw exclusive, Crews discussed his return to WWE Raw, noting that while he didn't win the Battle Royal, he was excited about his first night back on the red brand. He said, quote, "It feels good, I gotta say, the reaction that I got was amazing. It felt great to be out there in front of a Monday Night Raw crowd. Unfortunately, could have gotten it done in the Battle Royal, but that's just a little taste. There's a lot more to go. There's a lot more left where that came from, just a little taste." Interviewer Byron Saxton listed Crews' accolades and asked him to describe how this version of Apollo Crews will be different. The former champion stated that he sometimes forgets about his past success and he needs to remind himself of it. Crews then made it clear he intends to make the most out of every opportunity he gets. Quote, "It's funny you say that because sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget their accolades. United States Champion, Intercontinental Champion, won it at WrestleMania. Sometimes I forget. But every day I need to remind myself. I need to remind myself that I deserve to be here. I need to remind myself that I deserve every single opportunity that's presented towards me. And I'm going to step out there and do it." What's different? I see a lot of faces in the locker room, a lot of new faces in that locker room, but this is a different Apollo Crews as well, and everybody's going to get to see that when the time comes. Finally, we're still talking about Puerto Rico and Backlash and SmackDown, as we should, because they were fantastic shows. It's only been a week since WWE, must be said, took Puerto Rico by storm, holding both an episode of SmackDown and the premium live event Backlash on Friday and Saturday, much to the delight of Puerto Rican fans. And it seems those fans helped WWE make a whole lot of money over the course of the weekend. In a press release, WWE announced that both SmackDown and Backlash generated $1 million gates for the company, with SmackDown drawing $1.048 million, with 14,282 tickets sold, while Backlash drew $1.447 million, with 15,145 tickets sold. With the addition of comps, WWE noted that attendance for SmackDown and Backlash was at 16,496 and 15,552 respectively, while the net sales after fees were $1.016 million and $1.404 million respectively. Whatever way it's sliced, it all adds up to a very successful trip to Puerto Rico for WWE, with Backlash representing its first WWE premium live event or pay-per-view to take place in Puerto Rico since New Year's Revolution in January 2005. Furthermore, the live SmackDown broadcast represented the first WWE event of its kind in Puerto Rico, as WWE had previously only run non-televised events in the country, with the last one taking place back in October 2021. So certainly, again, a huge success for WWE, and I think it's an indication of where WWE is going, certainly in the future when it comes to international events or certainly events outside of the United States. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.